I'm arriving in Linz on the mighty river Danube. This is Austria's third largest city and home to 200,000 people. The guidebook tells me that Austria has turned to good account the chief natural advantage that was left to her, namely her scenery, and describes Linz as a city of domes and spires in a beautiful spot on the Danube. Well, a lot of water has flowed under the bridge since those words were written in 1936, but still the green copper cupolas punctuate the skyline, and still wooded slopes reach down to the river. Before I explore the city, I'm going to view Linz from above. This tram will whisk me from the main square, across the river, to the top of the hill, which rises 540 meters. I've boarded this vintage vehicle on the advice of my Bradshaws, which tells me that many delightful views are to be had from the neighbouring heights, notably from the Pöstlingberg, which is reached by tram. It was built in 1898. It's very steep. It averages 10.5% gradient, and it's all achieved by friction. There's no cable. It's just the adhesion between the wheel and the rail. Those late 19th century engineers really had a grip. The summit here at Pöstlingberg, with its 18th century pilgrimage church, is a Linz landmark, and the ideal vantage point from which to admire the city. I think Bradshaw's somewhat understated it. City, Danube, distant Alps. The view is really stunning. Most visitors to Linz will have heard of its famous cake. In the heart of the old city, I find this cafe, run by fifth-generation baker Fritz Rutt. Good evening, Scott.
Good afternoon, sir.
What
may I do for you?
Well, I came to admire your beautiful bakery. It's absolutely wonderful. Is it very, very old?
It's the oldest bakery in town since 450 years. And roughly 650 years ago, it was founded, this house, by the former Bakers Guild.
I believe the most famous cake here is called a Linzer Torte.
Quite right. 1696, there's the first recipe of such an almond torte called Linzer Torte.
And did you make this?
Yes, of course. Especially for you.
So tell me what's in here. Almonds?
Almonds, dough, and red currant jam, which is typically for this area in Austria, that the Linz tart is made with red currant jam.
Fritz, that's wonderful. Excuse me, may I join you for a second?
Please do.
Is this your first time in Linz?
Yes, it is.
So what made you walk in here today and order Linzer Torte?
To make sure that we tried it before we left Linz.
And will it be one of the highlights of your visit?
One of them.
A couple of minutes' walk away is the Hauptplatz, or main square.
As we were walking down Domgasse, past the 17th century old cathedral, I was thinking to myself, and I looked around and thought, well, wouldn't Linz be absolutely wonderful if we could have less cars on the streets like this one? Domgasse, which seems just to have cars going round in circles, looking for car parking spaces, which takes away from the beauty of the old cathedral, right on the corner of Domgasse.
Und mit dem Rad zu Fuß oder Kind, die Domgassen ohne Autos macht einen Sinn. Round and round suchen Autos am Platz. Round and round fahren die Autos hin und her. Round and round suchen Autos am Platz.